Hello, my name is Samuel Wells. Thank you for taking the time to hear me speak. I am by no means an authority on this subject. These are just simply the random thoughts of a blonde. I know that a lot of you are very busy and you don't have time to waste on meaningless apps or games that can sap your precious and limited time, and that's why I'm so grateful that you have taken the time to hear me speak. Also know that I am in no way getting paid by Candy Crush or King.com for this. When I said that Candy Crush could save your business, most of you instantly had thoughts pop into your mind because you have had the app or have the app right now. You've spent hours or days playing it. Some of you are probably playing it right now and just using me as background noise. If you do any kind of internet research on stress, you will see articles from WebMD to Health.com advising employees on how to manage work-related stress. I think the real cure, though, is to eliminate the stress in the first place. Why would you want to do this? Well, let's look at how stress is affecting your P&L. Stress is well documented to being tied to lower productivity, and of course, lower productivity means smaller profit margins. How many of you are familiar with the Ouroboros? Most of you are, but you probably don't know it by that name. The Ouroboros is the symbol of a snake or dragon swallowing its own tail. It has been used to symbolize recreation or something giving birth to itself. And that's exactly what stress is. It's a never-ending cycle. Let's say you have an employee who has that one boss. The boss that's very demanding and always quick to remind the employee that they can be replaced. This causes a very high level of stress at work, causing the employee to lower their production level, affecting profits, prompting the now demanding boss to become even more demanding and taking a high level of stress to another level. This level of stress the employee then takes home, and it spills out into their home life. People who are dependent upon this person now begin to worry about their future and inadvertently causing even more stress for the employee. Stress that the employee then takes back to work, where it accumulates with all the other stress and before too long implodes upon itself. This situation not only affects the employee, but you as well, because now you are forced to let the employee go, which instantly drops your profits. But on top of that, you now have to take revenue and spend it on finding replacements, training, and getting them back to the same level of production as the previous employee. Now, if the manager is still there, most likely you will repeat this process over and over again until something changes or they leave. I think at this point I could stop, and you can clearly see how work-related stress is affecting and possibly crippling your business. And at this point, this is how I want to bring in that Candy Crush could be your saving grace. If you will, picture in your mind the first thing you see when you open the Candy Crush app. Bright, cheerful colors. If you talk to any advertising agency, they will tell you that your color scheme should match whatever message it is you're trying to convey to your customers. Color can induce a wide range of emotions. And with Candy Crush, as soon as it opens, you're hit with these bright, cheerful colors, and you are instantly alive with anticipation of the coming challenge. When your employees walk in the morning, are they alive with anticipation of the challenges that are coming? Bright colors and a cheerful environment are well documented as stress relievers. And of course, with lower stress levels comes higher productivity. A well-mapped course. That's the next thing that Candy Crush shows us. In the game, you have a map that shows you where you started, where you are, and where you're going. It also gives you a snapshot of your level of success from challenge to challenge. Do your employees have a well-mapped, clear course for their career? Having a sense of achievement and knowing what your next move is can lower stress by eliminating the worry of tomorrow. And as we know, lower stress, higher profits. Third comes the challenge. Once you start, you're presented with your next challenge. The degree of your challenge changes from level to level. Some will be harder than others. But the one thing they all share is a certain amount of luck. And Candy Crush understands this. That's the reason they offer these nifty little power-ups in the corner. Because it's not always skill that will solve the puzzle. You could literally be 2 moves away from victory and only have 1 move left. And with a simple swipe of your finger, you sail on to the next challenge. Do your employees know that there's help available? Is there an infrastructure of tools and support readily available when needed? Do your employees understand that they can go to this source of help and not be thought of as weak or the bad fit for the position? Because see, knowing that there is help or a fallback point can lower the stress in the worst of conditions. You ask any fireman that's about to rush into a burning building, and he will tell you, you better know where every exit is, and everyone better know where the fallback point is in case things get too hot. And I apologize for that horrible pun. Failure and success. The next thing that Candy Crush does is offer hope and encouragement. See, when you fail to complete a challenge, you're offered 2 options. You can either buy in and continue where you are, or you can quit. If you buy in, you're given more chances to continue at whatever level you're currently at. If you quit, Candy Crush doesn't just close and forget about you, but it offers you a chance to retry, to start the challenge over. If an employee fails to meet a goal or reach a certain deadline, are they confronted with encouragement and positive reinforcement, or do they fear for their job? Knowing that your job career won't come to a crashing halt just because of failure can remove limitations on creativity and allow employees to think out of said box. Because see, when failure is not accepted, then the fear of failure becomes this cage, and that cage will stifle creativity and progressive thinking. But you remove that fear, and now employees that have been straight shooters are suddenly given the opportunity to become risk takers. Let's take Slack as an example. Slack was originally a game called Glitch, but when Apple announced that they would no longer support Flash, the programmers had 2 options. They could either recode or trash it. The lead programmer opted to take what remaining funds they had and put it into another program that they had been using for inter-office communication. Out of that risk, Slack was born, and Slack has become email's biggest contender ever. The last thing that Candy Crush offers us is a chance for a break. Candy Crush lets you sit for 10 or 15 minutes in a stress-free environment and not even think about work. A lot of companies are already doing this by offering nap areas or outside activities for employees. Because you see, 15 minutes away from work in a stress-free environment can increase productivity substantially. And as we have been talking about over and over again, the more stress goes down, the more productivity goes up. And the more productivity means more success for your company. Thank you for taking your time out to listen to me talk about this and just listening to the random thoughts in a blonde's head.